Hey everyone, welcome in. I'm Captivate, and as some of you may have seen in my most recent video, we went over Ace in OP13, getting ready for that. Coming out in a little bit under a month now, but as you can see, I've jumped back to PRB2 to play some Green Purple Luffy. This is the deck I've been playing the most recently. It's been one of the most fun decks to play, probably one of my favorite decks since it came out in EBO2. The EBO2 meta we had when Green Purple Luffy came out, and he was like pretty clearly one of the best decks in the game, was one of the most fun metas that I got to play in personally, so I wanted to go back and play this deck some more. It's likely going to be the deck that I play in the upcoming regionals, bouncing between this and a couple other decks, but I've been playing a lot of this deck, and he's super fun, and he gets specifically the Nami. That is the one card that's in every deck list, for sure, for all the green-purple Luffys. So what the Nami is it's just another searcher. It's literally the exact same as the Nami that we were already playing, but it just costs one more, and then because it costs one more, it has a trigger. So this comes up pretty frequently, honestly, now that you have both this and when you're at sea as triggers. I would say like pretty often you hit one of them during the game. The one thing that is a little bit awkward is with this event, you can trigger it as like your last life and look for a 2k. But there's times like in the later mid game, if you have like 5 wide on board, there's like really random times where you just can't trigger her because you don't want to play over a body. But at that point, if you're 5 wide, likely you've already won the game, so that really doesn't matter too much. But yeah, for anyone that does not know the green purple leader, the ability is Dawn -2 if you only have Straw Hat type characters in play. Set up to 2 of your rested Dawn cards as active, and then this leader gets plus 1000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn, and that combos very, very well with Sanji and Pudding, which I kind of nicknamed this deck like Sanji and Pudding the deck because the deck literally revolves around this card. So your turn, once per turn, when 2 or more of your Dawn cards are returned to your Dawn deck, set up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck as active. So as you can tell, we basically half the price of our leader effect, and then these stack. So if you have 2 on board, our leader effect becomes free, and then if you have 3, you actually get to ramp when you use your leader effect. So some like really crazy plays happen with this card when it gets to stick on the board. And then also on play, if your number of Dawn cards are equal to or less than your opponent's, draw 1 card. So yeah, that is really good. Obviously, anytime that you use your leader effect and then go minus Dawn, if you go -1, then you go equal with your opponent. So the next Sanji and Pudding that you play, you do get to draw off of, and if you play your first Sanji and Pudding off of the Luffy Taro, then you do get the draw initially because he Dawn -1s for you, so that you go equally with your opponent. Another tool that we get in the PRB2 is the Luffy right here, which says if your leader is multicolored and your opponent has 7 or less Dawn cards on your field, your opponent rests 1 active Dawn card at the start of your opponent's main phase. So basically he's freezing a Dawn. That's all he's doing, is he's freezing one of your Dawns. So it comes up into some specific decks, like against Blue Purple Luffy. If you freeze their Dawn when they're going into like 8 or 9 Dawn, you can turn them off from playing like a Doflamingo or a Mihawk, so that's pretty good. And then there's just certain cards or certain leaders that you can kind of just turn off like really key curves for them. So like green decks, if they're going into 8, you can freeze one so that they can't play a Mihawk. So he comes up sometimes. I tried him and honestly was pretty underwhelmed by him. I'm sure this is a card that will be in like topping green purple list because the deck is so strong, but it's not a card that I personally have fallen in love with. And then we also do have the 2k Zoro. If this character would be rested by your opponent's effects, you may rest 1 of your other characters instead. So this is pretty good. There's a lot of resting effects in the game now, specifically the Usohachi, so like mirror matches, and then Blue Purple Luffy if you have like a blocker. Actually no blockers that Usohachi can rest in this deck. But Dead Man's Game is another one that can rest a blocker. So any deck that's going to rest anything, so the mirror, green decks, Bonnie, Zoro, if they go to rest the Zoro, you can rest like a searcher instead, so that you get to keep your blocker standing there. So I think it's a pretty valid 2k. Because it's a 2k, it's definitely something you can run in your deck. The reason specifically that I think Furnosuke is better as an additional 2k is that you can search it off Zorojuro, and when I was trying the Zoro, I honestly found that like being searchable off Zorojuro felt more important, or like it came up more often than this Zoro effect came up, because I don't think it like ever came up while I was playing with it. So yeah, that's the one reason that I have the like purple 2k. I think you always have these 8, the Usohachi and the Sanji, and then just for your 9th or 10th, if you decide to play 10, make it either like a Frenosuke, or the Zoro is obviously like a pretty valid target. But that's the reason I'm playing the Frenosuke. I am playing the Frankie. This is kind of the flex slot, like this card here, and then like certain number of Bagua, and then Dead Man's Game. Like these kind of your flex slots. I'm running one more Luffy Taro. I know most Green Purple Luffy lists are only playing 2. I think 2 is pretty valid, but I kind of just want to consistently see it on that like 7 Dawn turn, because you're pretty often like going first and then going like 5 into 7. Or if you're going second, then you go to 6, and then you play Sanji and Pudding for 5, leader effect, play a Zorojoro, which leaves you at 5 Dawn at the end of your turn, so you go into your 7 turn. And then on both of those 7 turns, I really like to play the Luffy. So yeah, that's the reason I'm playing 3. I think 2 is pretty valid, obviously. I might end up cutting one of these for another 2K, or maybe like another Tech Frankie or something like that. And then we also do have the green Zoro. This one is one of your best cards into Rayleigh. And honestly, like, the Rayleigh matchup is quite bad. It's really one of the only decks that I think this deck struggles into, and the Zoro helps a lot there. So if you play like 3 or 4 copies of these, I think you help your Rayleigh matchup a lot. But the issue that I have with the card is that it's good into like very few other decks. So that's the reason I'm playing the Frankie. He just kind of keeps your Dawn a little bit higher. And then he also is a body that can trade into a board of Rayleigh. But yeah, I love this deck. The Nami basically just gave it like a ton more consistency, especially when you're going first, because you have these turns where you go like Nami on 1, and then on your 3-Dawn turn, if you're looking for specific pieces, you like play a stage, draw 1 card there, and then play this Nami, and then now you've found your like curve pieces that you want between like your Sanji, Zorojoro, or Luffy Taro. These really are the 3 cards you're searching for, and it's really just a matter of like how far you can get into your deck to see them. But yeah, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, as always, please like and subscribe. It means so much to me. And I want to hear in the comments below what deck you think is either the best deck or the deck that you're planning on playing in PRB2. I hope you enjoy the games. And again, thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. So we got a Katakuri, and they decided to go second. I'm honestly not sure which one is favored in this matchup, but we have double Searcher going first, so I think that's fine, and we can just kind of try to find a 5-Dawn play. I do know the stage is important to play around the Conquest card that they play that KOs 2 of your 6K, so like basically their Gravity Blade. I think I'll go ahead and grab that just so that we can continue to cycle on our next turn, and then also just get it on board so that we can at least like not get blown out by that card if we find like Sanji and Pudding and then have Zorojoro. I know I've played the Katakuri a little bit. It's pretty fun. And I've definitely beaten some Green Purple Luffys from that card. So oftentimes you want to play the stage first, but I think right now we actually want to search first, because we really want to find a Sanji and Pudding, which we do find, so that's good. Because we really want to get that on board. And then now that we have it, we can decide if we want to just get the stage on board or play the Nami. So on our next turn, we are going to play Sanji and Pudding, and then on 7, we're looking to play like Luffy Taro. So I think I'm going to go ahead and play the Nami just to continue to dig, and then yeah, so now we can go ahead and grab the Luffy Taro. So like our perfect curve now would be if we found a Sanji and Pudding somewhere, so that we could go like Spud on 5 and then Taro into Spud on 7. That's like your perfect curve going first. So obviously just using all of our searchers to try to find that. And then we'll take whatever they swing here. Alright, so they don't have the Pudding, or they don't want to use it. I assume they would play it if they had it. But also, like, kind of susceptible to being... Okay, so we top the deck the Sanji and Pudding, so that's very good for us. I don't think there's any triggers in the deck, but we might as well just swing 5 before we play that. Not really any reason not to. So we'll get them on board, and then next turn we do get to go Taro into Sanji and Pudding into Zorojoro. This combo is like pretty devastating for most decks, and it's kind of what you're using all of your searchers for in the early game, and I feel like this Nami just adds so much consistency to seeing that combo. Alright, so we'll pretty easily take the 7 there. So one thing that I do kind of want to think about with this combo specifically is like we have the Dawn to do this, but as I was saying earlier, I don't want to get blown out by them playing a Conquest, which they could very easily do next turn, because they'll go to 6 once they get this Dawn, and then they'll go to 8. So they do have the Dawn -2, but they would get to clear both of our Sanjian puddings. And I definitely don't want to let that happen. So I think I will actually just play the stage here. Just so that we get that on board. And then now, like, they're really... They can't play Conquest just to get rid of the one Sanjian pudding. So we'll get both of those to stick on board. And then we can just swing 2 7s and play the Nami. Just to continue to dig. I'm going to grab the DMG because we probably are going to need it late game. With the Katakuris on board, kind of just to push for game there, and then also if they play more of the Ananas. So now we just go double 7, probably like leader effects into 2k. He could, and then he would still have 7, or he just takes. That is also totally fine. I really could have gone 8, because I don't think I would ever giant here. And then next turn, just continue to develop and then like really start to pressure. I don't want to go too low, so I'm going to give a 2k here. I don't think I have any use for the Usohachi outside of like an Anana. And we have the DMG for like late game, so I think that's fine there. The one thing with this deck is like the little baby Katakuris don't really ever work because they're not often at 8. Which that is another thing that I can like consciously do, is just not return Dawn so that we stay under that 8 so that they can't do the baby. And then yeah, I think I'll just give another 2k here because we're gonna draw off of both of these, which will just get more counter in our hand. Yeah, so I think we just go like Spud into Juro, get a bunch of counter, and then basically just not die. And then on our next turn, we can like DMG 1 or 2 Katakuris they have, and then just push for game with the Luffy. And I think we'll close the game out on that turn. So we're at 8 currently. I'm going to go ahead and play this and just see what we draw. Oh, they're at 7. Oops. That's alright. So now we will leader effect. I'm currently at 6. So another thing, kind of what I was saying is like, do I want to give them the opportunity to play like 2 Katakuri? Because on their next turn, they could go like putting Kata, baby Kata into big Kata. And I think I'm okay with that. So I'm going to get 3 Dawn back. So I'm at 5, 8, and then I can go 8, 8, 8, leave up 3, leave up 2. I don't really need to leave up much Dawn. But yeah, I think I can just add all this Dawn back because I'm going to pressure so hard this turn that like if he has another Kata, it won't really matter. Well, actually, we're going to play the Zorojuro here. And then grab a 2k for sure. And then now, let's see. I want to leave 2 Dawn up, just in case we need to use 2 giants. And then we're going to go, so it's 8, 8, 8, 7. Yeah, so just 6, 8, 8, 8, 6, 8, 8, 8. Or we could go 7, 7. I think it's like technically the same math because it's like 7, 7, 8, 8. So 7 block. 7, 7, 8. I don't think it matters too much. Because if we go 6, he might honestly give us a 2k. Yeah, so I think we'll do that. And then everything else. I think this gives him the least value for his blocker. Because I don't think he ever actually blocks for free this way. And then these 2 8s are going to hurt. Yeah, I think this was the best way to do it. Because he definitely blocks a 7. Like, as soon as you send a 7, you just free block it. Because it's so valuable to do that. And then I want to, like, evenly have him take this damage. So I'm going to go 8, 8 rather than going, like, 7, 9. Because 7, 9 is just going to be, like, counter 7, take the 9. So this 8 is like kind of awkward to counter. Honestly, could I go 9? I'll play it safe and just go 8. He probably goes 2Ks here. But I do want to leave up the Dawn just in case. But realistically, we don't ever die here. And he's probably just going to develop. I haven't like paid too much attention to how much he knows about our deck. But that is another thing that like if he's really paying attention, he knows a decent number of cards in our hand. And then we'll buff. Oh, oops, we have too much Dawn. That would be honestly, even if they do that, I think I'm fine with it. Because they'll like go to 6, they'll kill both of these and then not be able to kill either of these. So yeah, I think if he uses Conquest, I'm fine with it. The one thing that might be bad is if I like giant into 2 bricks, and then it just makes it like really awkward. But yeah, he could go. Oh, he actually doesn't have a Kata. Okay, so we're probably good because he'll get another Dawn with this. And then I think we just go like this Dawn. I mean, it doesn't really matter between DMGing this or the Dawn. Assuming he doesn't put Dawn on anything. Because if he puts Dawn on anything, we just do both. We also did take the DMG with Nami, so if he was really paying attention, then he knows we have it. Oops. Oh, did he like miss say? What happened? I don't even know what happened. I honestly have no idea what happened. Yeah, so I'll just okay, so if I take, he can go like 6, 7, 8. We'll just take. I don't need the Dawn. Yeah, and then 6. Honestly, I could take as well. And then just 2K. And then Bagua, the other one. Yeah, and then honestly, I don't even know if I need to DMG. I think he's just dead, honestly, because I mean, we can do it. So we'll DMG that, and then we'll leader effect. But he's definitely like pretty dead. And then we'll just start 7s. Because it's gonna be like 7, 7. I mean, I can go like infinite 7s here because it's literally like that's, yeah. So it's holy, it's a lot of 7s. Because this is 2, 7, so it's like play this, or like go 7, 7, 7, and then play the Luffy is 2 more 7s and then 8. And then we could just jam at this point, but yeah, GG's there. Yeah, I don't know what he said oops for, but it didn't really matter, and we kind of just like high rolled and blew them out. I don't really know what could have gone differently there. So we are in the mirror and they decided to go second. Second is obviously a little bit more favored. We do have a pretty good cards here, so I'm gonna keep this. Can't ask for too much better than this. And then we do get to search on our 3-Dawn turn into a Sanji Pudding on 5. If I could find like a Sanji Pudding or maybe Taro for 7 off of this, that would be pretty good. So let's see what we find off of the Nami. Okay, so I think I'm gonna grab a. Oh man, I want all of these. So Frankie works for our next turn because we can Sanji into Frankie. But I think I'm gonna take a Taro here because if I don't take one now, we're never gonna see it. Well, I guess there's one more in the deck, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and grab that, and then we don't have any other searching to do, so I'll swing 6 here. They drew the Sanji and Pudding off of the Nami. I mean, there's an argument to make. Okay, well, that's pretty bad. That might have lost me the game, honestly. The ramp triggers in the blue-purple mirror kind of win the games, and I feel like that's more true here. That was a pretty bad. Alright, so I don't think I'm going to leader effect Because what does leader affecting do for me? Not really anything outside of let me play a stage. So I think we just swing 5 and then play Sanji Pudding. And then we'll Taro on the next turn. Them ramping does give us the draw. I didn't really think about that, so I guess that is okay there. But they do get to go... They're literally doing our curve, but better. So, well, earlier, I guess I should say. And then I think we're going to have to eat both of... Well, this is probably going to be a 6, which I'll 2k. And then I'll just take the 7. But yeah, he's hit, like, literally perfect curve here. So, this is one of those games where I feel like you kind of need a Luna to win. But I am not playing Luna at the moment. I'm very tempted to get rid of, like, some stage for a Luna. Okay. That is very good for us, that now we can do the exact same play they just did, but a turn behind. Which is kind of the issue, is we're chasing the game, the all game. So now I'm going to go Taro, Sanji Pudding, leader effect, get freestand 2, get 2 back, and then play Zoro. So it's literally the exact same play that they just did. This is always going to swing at a 7, so I think we can just start there. And I'm going to go at life to tax 2Ks. Because realistically, if I swing here, I'm basically just making their leader a 7, because I'm never going to end up killing that. But we do get draws off of these, so maybe that's better for us. And then now we can just go 6 lead. Okay, so he takes that. That's pretty good. Maybe there's a possibility we could potentially try to go for game next turn. The one thing that I am worried about is if I play this and don't get a 2k, I'm very light on counter, and if he goes like 8 and I have to take, low key I might lose. And I feel like next turn we might want to just like DMG, try to go for game. Because he took that swing, so now he's at 1. So I honestly think, I'm trying to think if I want to play a stage. Yeah, I think I'll do this just to, okay, cycle into another stage. That's sick. We are at 6, so if we giant, we go to 4, and then we go back to 6. He's going to 8. I think I'm going to leave it like this in case we get DMG'd. Which I definitely am playing a little bit more scared this way, but he's also out of Luffy range. And then this also now makes him have to leave up quite a bit of Dawn. I was not paying attention to what he grabbed off of this. Okay, so he grabbed a 2k. Okay, so he plays that and gets a giant. He's doing the one thing where you kind of want to swing before you play your bodies, because it makes it a lot easier for me to not respect your swings once I know like what you're doing with your whole turn. But he has so much Dawn here. I feel like he probably just sends a bunch of 8s and then leaves up like 4 Dawn, so he can't die to DMG. I'm honestly not really sure how I beat hand as good as what he's had. So we will Sanji. The one bad thing is like he could hit me a couple times and then go for the Sanji and Pudding. So I'll take this. I'm not scared of dying, I don't think. Because if he DMGs, 6 is annoying. But I will 2k. Yeah, because he could just put like he probably goes 8 and then like 11 there. So if I take this, I don't die to the counter that I have in my hand. Because it's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is 14. I mean, I'm assuming I draw into some sort of counter with this. And then if he DMGs, I'm definitely fine here. So I'll just take. And then we do get the trigger, which is nice. And then we'll get a 2k. I don't think this will matter. But I'm guessing he probably just goes another 8. And leaves like a bunch of Dawn up. So there is no way he dies. Okay, so I will Bagua to get another Dawn and then 2k. And then he'll leave 4. Yep. So I feel like I probably need a double DMG to even think about going for game, because if we had double DMG, we go 8, 8, 8. Yeah, we just send a bunch of like 8, 8, 8, 9. We can Luffy here. He's at 8, so there's not going to be a way that he goes below, which I think that's going to be the only way we could potentially steal this game, because we definitely die next turn. Maybe? No, we have 3. We don't have any 1Ks, which is the issue. So like the second he sends a 6 at us, we just die. I think we start with an 8. But I know he has at least a giant and a Sanji. But yeah, we both saw like pretty good curves, but him ramping just put him so much further ahead. So now I know he still has a giant and a Sanji. So if I play Luffy, we have 3 left. Leader effect gets us 4. So we have 7 to play with. Luffy effect is going to use 2 of those. And then we could go 6, 7. So if I do 3 on Luffy, that's a 10. I could go 6, 8, 8, 10, 10. 6, 8, 8, 10, 10. I think that's probably our best bet. Yeah, I think we'll do that. I think that's literally the only way, and then we kind of just hope he doesn't have it. So 6, 8, 8, 10, 10. No, I guess it's 6, 8, 8, 10, 10. Yeah. But I'm fairly certain he has this. And then 8. We kind of need to get the last life too. Gianting an 8 is good for us. And then another 8. No, he still has the Sanji. He takes. That's a Luna trigger. Oh, good. It's it's a search trigger, and he gets a 2K. Okay, so I know he has 2 2Ks for this 10 at least. So that's one of them. Oh, we got it. Wow. Wow, that is really surprising he didn't have another counter event. And he didn't find one up there. So, yeah, that was the only way we could have stolen that game. I feel like he probably should have tried to go for it last game, but he didn't have DMG, and I think we had the counter. Honestly, well, yeah, because we were at 5 Dawn, so the second he played Rush Luffy, he, like, I just giant eventually at one point, and then he loses the rush on the Luffy. So that really wasn't a route that he could have taken. And then he obviously didn't have a giant, which lucky for us because he had all the 2Ks there. So against Nami, we are going second, and we do have the Nami Searcher and the Marigold, so we would get to see 6 cards. Looking for the Luffy Taro. I think I'm okay to keep this. And we'll start with the draw, and then we'll do the Nami first, and then we do find the Luffy Taro, so we'll go ahead and take that. And then on our next turn, I'll just put the counter on the top, because we're probably, by the time we get back down there, I don't think we'll want those counterless cards. One of the most important things about this matchup is trying to play around pudding, I feel. So I really like to defend that first attack if I can. Because there's a pretty good chance we just get pudding to next turn, and we lose a bunch of cards, which obviously we don't really want to do. And then I'm just going to grab... So we could grab the Frankie or the Usohachi. I think I'm going to grab the Frankie here. Or we could grab the stage. I honestly don't hate the stage. I'm going to grab a Frankie just so that it gives us a play off of the Sanji and Pudding next turn. Okay, so they do Zeus that, and then they probably go 8 at us again, which I will double 2K. I don't want to have to take this and then get Pudding to next turn. So now we can go ahead and leader effect, gain 1. We will buff them so they're out of range of anything, and then we can go ahead and swing 7, just because this makes them use their leader effect and then also give us another card. Because if we just swung the 6 there, they just have to trash a brick. So the bad thing about doing the Frankie is we lose a 1K. Honestly, the more that I think about it, I actually think we should just search. Because if we play the Frankie, we ramp 1, so we go to 6. And we're really not going to do anything with that extra Dawn unless we top deck a Zorojuro, because we already have the Taro Pudding. So I would rather look for another counter card. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna take giant here so that we have a giant in our hand, and then we'll just pass with 2 up. Obviously, I'm not going to use the giant this turn, but yeah, now, so exactly. So we can use the Frankie here because we would have to take this if we had. Okay, so can't attack with the pudding, that's fine. And then now we will go ahead and use the Taro into Sanji Pudding. Leader ability will now be free, so we'll get 4 Don, and then we can go ahead and search. We already have 2 Luffy, so I definitely don't need another one. So the only option we really can take there is the Usohachi. And then I'm just going to go ahead and swing 7 after buffing 1. And then we'll leave Dawn up for Bagua. So we can get that Dawn back. And then also just get out of a swing. Okay, so that is our turn. So they could do like a Nojiko to bounce the Sanji and Pudding. 8 is, this is probably going to be a kid. So I think I'll 2K and then I'll Bagua the Boa swing and then let them use the kid on us to trash that life. Yeah. Alright, so now I think we're going to play Luffy this turn. So once we play Luffy, we'll restand, we'll leader effect restand, and then we'll get 4 Dawn back up. I definitely don't think we can go for game this turn because we're really only going to have like 7-7. Luffy leader can go 7-9. We could go, I mean, let's just start with a 7. I'm not sure if I want to play around Gravity. Okay, yeah, so we won't play around Gravity Blade now. Alright, so now there's 7 for the turn. So if we play the Luffy and then leader effect, we will just do it this way. So play the Luffy, we have 2, leader effect, we get back these 4. So now we'll have 6 untapped. We can go 9, 7. We could go 7, 9, 9, 9. So 7, 1, and then 3 9s. That might get there. Do we have to do that though? I don't think so. Because I think what we do here is we play Luffy and then we'll leader effect. And then now they have 1, 2, 3, 4 swings. So we have to be able to get out of 2 of them to not die. So I think what we can do is just start with a 7. And there's no trigger that we have to stage for. Okay, so they take the 7. So they're probably bricked. So I think now we just go 9. And then see. Okay, yeah, so draw 2 and then 2 on the bottom. So now, yeah, now we have math. We just go 9 twice. Yeah, so they were very bricked up there. But yeah, if they had countered any of those swings, we could have just pivoted to like holding up Giant and then DMG Dawn. I don't think we can die there, depending on what the Giant draws us. Also, the Nami would have been in life because we had 2 life, so I think we were fine there to just live another turn, which obviously if they had countered at any point, we would have just done that instead. I think it's a limb, and I think every deck wants to go first into limb. This hand probably would be fine. I think I would keep this one going second, but because we're going first, I do not. Kind of unfortunate we get so many counter events that early, and we get both our Luffy Taros there, so we'll be seeing that. Yeah, now we have nothing to search, so we'll just go 5-5. Not really a better play there. I always prefer to go 5-5 rather than just going 8 in the early game, just because we took the damage and then we also got a card out of their hand, so kind of 2-in-1. I will take this, just kind of looking for more things to do. So we could play Sanji and Pudding. This Sabo is also incredibly annoying to deal with, because he's just going to get them a free draw every turn. So I kind of think we just jam into it, and then we can look to develop next turn. Because they'll have to give us 2-2-1. Okay, they do give us 2-2-1 for it. So they, yeah, I mean, they go down to 2 cards in hand, which I think is okay. I'm not sure if that was right to defend that, but yeah, and then they'll just probably 3 or more rested characters. So yeah, they need to play something, and then I'm gonna give them a 2K here, just so that we don't go too low on life. Okay, yeah, so for sure. Glad I gave that 2k. Otherwise, we'd be going to 1. All right, I will take both of those. And now I'm going to play Sanji and Pudding, which we do get the draw because they ramped, which is nice. We'll leader effect, get another one. And then, so now if I play Zorojuro, I kind of feel like I just die. So I think I go 8 here and then just kind of cycle some of these bricks out and look for counter. I already have 2 giants, so I just want the counter at this point. And then I think I'm going to continue to cycle. So we're at 6. We're going to 8 next turn. So we can either play... We do want to get the stage down to play around their... I think it's Newgate. I can't remember exactly what character it is, but the one that like rests and kills it. I think that's what it does. Yeah, so we don't have too much like natural counter in our hand, but I do want to kill this Sabo. So I think I'm just going to leave 1 up for a giant if we need to do that. I think I'm kind of okay to go to 0 with how much counter I have in my hand. The only downside there is we really can't tap too low. But if he does something like super expensive to get out of, I think I'm okay to go to 0. This is a matchup that playing Luna for sure would benefit it quite a lot, I'm sure. So 9 into us, we'll take... And then now we could double 2k, or we can giant. I think I would prefer... So if I double 2k, I get rid of my Sanji, but if I giant, we go back to 6 Dawn, which... It's kind of hard to play the game that low on Dawn. Yeah, I think I'm going to double 2k here. Alright, so now I'm definitely going to start with the Sanji and Pudding. Leader effect, and then I'll get back 4 Dawn. So we'll have 2, 4, 6, 7 Dawn left after playing Sanji and Pudding. So then we could play the... Yeah, let's just start there and see what we draw. Get more bricks, and then let's leader effect. So now we need to just not die. So Bagua Giant. That's 4. We could go 3 and just like Bagua Giant, try to find a 2k off the Zorojuro. I think I'll start with a 6. And then we can go 7. So 2k there, and then we'll go 7. They probably take... having a Sanji would be pretty nice right now. So like I could try and chase a Sanji with the Nami, but if I do that, I do get rid of my counter. Let's do this and just try and get a 2k. Yeah, so we get the Usohachi, which is fine. And then now we try to just not die. Yeah. Alright, 6 at us, we will give a 1k for sure. This is going to be pretty hard if they have another Mihawk. And they can go like 12. Okay, so they'll just jam us with that. So I'm going to start with a giant because we're always going to use a giant. And then I will get rid of the Luffy. I'm not going to need 2. Okay, so now we get plenty of 2k. So now I'll just Bagua so we get the Dawn back. And then I will 2k. I'm going to keep the Usohachi just because it's pretty possible we use it with this blocker. So now, can I survive another all-in? So I have 10, 12, 14, 15k counter. We also can probably kill with Luffy here, because if we play Luffy, we restand 4. So our swings are like, we have 4 restood. It's going to cost 2 to restand the Luffy. I want to swing the Luffy for at least an 8, so we could go like 7, 7, 7, 7... 9, and then one of these an 8, so we could go like 7, 7, 7, 8, and then double 9. So we can just start with the 7s, because we'll just reveal the least amount of information first. So another 7, and because he took that, it's in a pretty good spot. I also can play the Usohachi if he decides not to block. And if we play the Usohachi, then that's like play Luffy, restand 4, play Usohachi for 3. We need to keep these up, so then it's just 7, 7. Yeah, we have math if we do that. So we can play the Luffy, and then we will restand the Dawn. Yeah, and then he we'll quit there. But we had math there because then we just use the 3 and then we go 7, which if he counters is 2-1, like 2 cards, and then 7 again, he has to take, and then 7, 2-1, and then 7 again. So we had math there, but yeah, good game there.